vocal warm-ups and then lead right into the podcast. That's my favorite vocal warm-up.
Okay, you can start whenever.
I'm channeling energy.
There's dust flying around.
Oh no. Sorry. I'll
You
take
have to animate
responsibility
that
for
into the
too.
podcast.
I will not. My creative bones are tired in my brain.
Did you hear that?
There was like an inverse burp.
Sounded like a Komodo dragon. You know those noises they be making?
Glare.
Alright, you can start now.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome!
It's that time frame where we're finally catching up on things we might have missed since the last time we did our bulk recording.
Yeah, this is the first up-to-date podcast. Although I don't think it made too much difference. I don't think we really missed much.
Yeah.
Actually.
The only thing we missed is a bunch of people, like, humoring the idea of Donald Trump getting arrested, and then he never, like, really did.
He did.
Well, no, he got, what is the word? They're all, like, talking about, oh, his hearing will be in 1 year, or whatever.
Well, he got indicted, which means he got charged with a crime.
Okay.
So, 33 felonies. So he did. I mean, it depends on your definition of arrest, because
Yeah, they didn't come up to his house and cuff him.
Well, no, because they don't. He's gonna comply. He's gonna go to court and accept his arraignment. It's called the arraignment. This
is a funny way to start a podcast.
Yeah,
where we intentionally usually avoid political topics. Well, it's
Well,
not really political, but like
I don't
heavy
think I don't
topics.
think you understand how it works. I mean, he's not gonna be arrested because he can pay bail or bond.
I know.
Because he's rich, so and he's
Well,
not.
that's
He's
terrible,
not a flight
but-
risk. Like nobody thinks he's gonna try to avoid the charges because obviously he's not gonna get away with that. So, but he did get charged with crimes, so that actually did happen. But I don't think anything's really gonna come of it because
that's what I'm
he's
saying.
getting charged for falsifying business documents, which is like, who hasn't done that?
I know.
What rich person hasn't done that?
It's
and gotten away with
basically
it?
he just made the other rich people mad, so now they're holding him accountable for it.
Yeah.
That's just the way the world works. Now, off of Donald Trump and our society being in shambles, do you want to talk about first?
Go for it. Don't ask me. Go for it.
Go for it.
Just go for it.
Okay.
Just go for
I
it.
thought, because I never said this. I don't know if I said this specifically in a podcast video, but Jason, he's minoring in cinema, and we just watched the Mario movie. Are there any movies you want to talk about that you want to see or that you know anything about?
No. Wait, what do you mean? Like new movies that are coming out?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any that I'm particularly invested in.
There's really none. I remember way back when we talked about starting up the podcast again, way back when it would have been more relevant, we were talking about, we had watched Free Guy and we wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's late to do that now.
Yeah.
It's late to do that now. But something we mentioned in the previous podcast was about how we are just like demystified with Marvel. They're not interesting anymore.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, what would I talk about? Marvel movies that are coming out, like Marvel shows, because I don't even know anymore. They have like the series now.
Yeah.
So it's like all blurred to me. I don't even. It's just like an endless stream of content, and it's so uninteresting to me.
Because that's the thing I was thinking with Marvel is they're throwing all these ideas out there. And the thing is, I don't read comic books, but I keep up with some people who are comic book fans, like on the internet, YouTube personalities and stuff like that. And comic books have just sort of like always been throwing out ideas because they can afford to. It's just like people buy whatever catches their eye, you know. And it's not like it's not the same like overarching presence that movies and TV shows have, where like everybody talks about them in like more surface level pop culture. So it's almost like the people who invented these superheroes or whatever the comic books are about create the base idea, And then years later, they're just paying comic book artists to almost like write fan fiction based off of the original story.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happening with the Marvel movies now, especially on their TV shows and their Netflix streaming service stuff and all that.
It's not Netflix.
Yeah, it's not Netflix.
Disney Plus.
I did
Because
a old
Disney bought
person where
Marvel.
you like call tissues Kleenex.
Yeah,
I did that
on the Netflixes.
on the Netflixes.
On the Netflixes.
But yeah, it's because in a way I like that sort of open-ended creativity, but it really messes with your branding. Because for the longest time they tried to have like the continuous like Avengers storyline where everything's connected, and now it's just like in shambles.
The problem is I've never liked superheroes, so I've never found it particularly interesting. I actually, for once in my life, extremely rare. The only superhero I actually like is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
I like the Spider-Man series. I've
I have
always
a
thought
point to
Spider-Man's
make about
pretty
that.
cool. And I think it's probably because he has like a personality outside of being Spider-Man, because he's actually like a normal person.
Yeah.
And I can't stand movies where it's just like superheroes do cool things, save the world, yay!
I don't dislike. I mean, I kind of dislike some of the things that, albeit very nondescriptly, you just put there. But overall, I don't dislike superhero genre stuff. But over the years, Marvel's take on it has just become so generic that it cannot interest me anymore.
But what I was gonna say is that I'm normally the last person to do this, but I actually only enjoyed the Marvel movies when I used to, like Infinity War and Endgame. I actually sort of just watched them because I like the actors.
Oh, yeah?
Because I didn't care that much about the
true.
Marvel universe in general.
They do a good job of portraying their characters and making them interesting.
I like Spider-Man. I like Guardians of the Galaxy and Chris Pratt. I like and Tom Holland. So those actors and their series specifically, I was kind of just watching because I liked that they were included. I don't really care that much. Like Iron Man, I'm sorry, I hate Iron Man so much. I hate the Iron Man series so much. I just don't like Iron Man.
Yeah, he's kind of just a spectacle. Like his story could be interesting, but it's so flashy and his character is like so abrasive that a lot of the time the only thing you come away from the movies like thinking is, wow, that action scene looked cool.
Yeah, that's my problem with superhero movies.
Yeah, and I have that same problem. I'm just a little bit more lenient on it. But that's the thing, because you mentioned, or I mentioned, I guess, off of what you said, how my breaking point was just how generic they've been. That's why, to this day, my favorite ones are Ant-Man, which isn't necessarily different in terms of, like, genre. Well, it kind of is, because the first movie was like a heist movie on top of being a superhero movie. But they have this focus on comedy that doesn't feel like weirdly, like, contrasting with the overarching story like Ragnarok kind of did. That I think just goes really well, and it fits all the characters in the franchise and everything. I wasn't the biggest fan of the second one, Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I love the original Ant-Man. I have not seen the third one.
I have a question. Was your initial question and all of this build-up just leading to you talking about Quantumania?
It was me leading to me talking about a list of things of which Quantumania is on there.
Okay.
I'm just briefly going to say that some friends went out to see it, and they offered to, like, hey, does anybody want to go? And I was, ironically, I think I was busy with podcast stuff at the time, so I said no. Or I didn't say no, I just didn't say yes.
You were busy editing the podcast?
Yeah. But I do want to see it.
Get a load of this guy.
I do want to see it, even though I think reviews are, like, mid. Just because I think it's one of those things based off of some other, like, more personal reviews I've seen by people, that if you just enjoy it for, like, the funny, goofy stuff, you'll almost like it, at least, like, ironically. You know, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So I feel like I would enjoy it. So now I want to see that at some point. But another one that I really like is the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I love the first one. I like the second one even better because they don't feel like superhero movies. They kind of are, but they've got, like, that weird, like, sci-fi... world to them.
Yeah, I've always liked the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and they're making a third one.
Yeah, it's been like years. When is it supposed to come out?
I don't know. Can I just say, though, have you seen the trailers?
No.
Gamora is dead, right? Why is she in the trailers?
It's probably exists before the Infinity War or before the Endgame time frame when she dies.
Well, that's funny.
They probably
that's funny because literally when she died in Avengers, I was like, well, great. Now what are they gonna do? There's because they could, if they were good writers, they could work around this. But I was like, I don't think they're just. So
that was a powerful eye.
I'll do something about it. Obviously, like I said, I like the movies. I think they're good writers, but I don't know if they're like, it didn't seem like they really wanted to give up one of their main characters, you know? I was like, they're going to find a way to work around this.
I think they just, they knew that they could kill her in the movie for shock value, but then just say, oh, we're going to keep her in the Guardians of the Galaxy series.
And just make a prequel movie like with Black Widow.
Because the series is just going to exist in the time frame before she dies in Endgame.
Yeah, dude.
And so
they're going to keep piling up in-universe stuff before until it gets to like this point where it's like, how come none of this was mentioned in Avengers Infinity War? How come none of it was relevant? But the other thing, when it comes to like plain superheroes who, I mean, obviously there's a little bit different about them. That's why we like them. I agree with you that I like Spider-Man the most because he's a kid. He doesn't have all this like adults being like having these big problems of, oh, I'm the hero, but I have all these responsibilities that are adult responsibilities, and they're kind of generic because they're the same that almost every other superhero has. He's a kid who's like living his own life, and he has some of his own hero-like moral questions, but they come from a different perspective with him being a kid and having to juggle all this other stuff. And not having, like, the full, like, adult grasp on how to do it. And I really like that. And they kind of ruined that in the Avengers because they just threw him in as an Avenger.
I just noticed this. It's the tag for my Squishmallow that is an Easter egg. It's still sitting on your desk.
Yes.
His name is Egbert.
Is he on the table right now? No, he's going to be sitting on your head.
On my head right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Way to derail.
Sorry. But I just wanted to make sure, if you're not watching the actual video right now, take a second just to look at Egbert on my head. Yeah, look at the egg on
Jason's head. But we still liked the 3 latest Spider-Man movies. Their names are all so similar that I hate them. Like, it's just a
Homecoming,
terrible...
Far From Home, no. Yes. And then, what is it? No Way Home.
Okay, but here's something I've been waiting to say for a long time. You and Kristen were, like, gushing about No Way Home. I honestly didn't care for it. It was just meh.
Okay.
Can you...
Wait, okay. I don't have any... I mean, you're...
I mean, do you feel strongly about it? Kristen was like, it's the best movie of the year and all this stuff.
No, I mean, I didn't think... Well, I would never call something the best movie of the year, especially when I've seen, like, 5 movies that year in total. You know, how
many movies have you seen this year?
I don't know.
I just thought the plot was like a very generic attempt to like give into like the fan service of having the 3 Spider-Men together and just like bringing in all the other characters and bringing in all the tearjerker moments. Oh, and whoever died, I forget the character's name.
Aunt May.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, but I questioned myself for a second. It just, every single plot beat felt like, okay, what can they do the most to make you feel something without thinking too hard about it?
Well, I think they just it's the trend of it's like the multiverse trend.
Yeah, I know.
Where
that too, because I'm so tired of the trend now.
Companies have realized
it's such a trope.
Companies have realized that like people really like all of their library of content, and if they re-include,
and they can't decide how dare.
Yeah, way to let me finish a sentence. That was.
Just keep going.
About 3 sentences right there. Anyways, if they include their older, like, references to older content, which people have perhaps a stronger love for because it's, like, more nostalgic or whatever, then people will like it. And I feel like I guess they did it because, like, oh, that's, you know, past stuff. So why, like, bring it back up? You know, it's in the past. I don't know. I guess it from a creative standpoint, it seems like a bad decision, but... Then they took a risk with it, and it worked so well that now everybody is doing it in movies. And
it's almost like they're like, well, it worked the first time. If we're scared it won't work the 57th time, let's just put the first time in the 57th time.
It's not that I do think it's cool, and that's why I really liked No Way Home, because it is really cool. I just wish that they could just have the confidence to do it just because they thought it would be cool. Not just be like, oh, now we can do it because it's proven it's cool because it makes a lot of money. So now we can do it. It would be cooler if they just decided to do it because of on their own creative will and take the chance, the potential risk. Now it's just like, it's unoriginal, I guess.
My biggest Oh yeah, and because here I'll get onto that later. But my biggest positive takeaway was that they actually did everyone forgets some memory. In this case, who Peter Parker is and Spider-Man, and they actually followed through with it. Like after seeing the ending of Gravity Falls, like yeah, I'm touched that like I'm sorry to inject Gravity Falls into our Marvel discussion, but yeah, after seeing like oh no, Uncle Stan he sacrificed his memory. But then it was so touching when it came back. But yeah, also like that kind of like defeats the purpose of it, you know?
Yeah, they always be doing that.
And that's like such a trope. It's like I sacrifice everything, but it doesn't actually go away. I was willing to, you know?
It's always like there's like the magical kiss or something.
Yeah.
That brings all the memory back.
Oh my goodness, that's Free Guy. Yes, Free Guy had a chance to make it interesting. They could have, because you said the magical kiss. That was literally what brought his memory back in Free Guy. And we were all like, they could have made it interesting by like making it like a hardware software like reference and like because you know you can't usually when you delete something there's still like corrupted meta or like
it doesn't actually delete it.
Yeah, there's still remnants.
It just frees up the space. It just basically says you can overwrite it.
Even if the thing that in like kickstarted it was a kiss and they built that in, that would have been creative actually if they could have connected the two. If they made it so that somehow it was like this, because they did all this other stuff where it's like he's going to destroy the servers in real life, which is going to destroy the game in the game world. They did all this stuff. It would have been so cool if they did that. And every now and then there were throw-ins in that movie that made it sound like they actually knew a little bit about like game programming and stuff, like the bare minimum to make it like interesting.
Yeah,
that was we did like Free Guy, by the way. It had its faults, but. It was interesting overall.
It did its best.
I had some interesting sort of like goofy, you know, comical commentary on like the gaming community.
It was definitely.
It felt like it wasn't like completely out of touch.
It was definitely cheesy though, but
yeah, it was. But I kind of like the cheese.
People are too scared of cheese these days.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest.
I like a little
People
cheese.
are way too scared of cheese. It's like the whole cringe culture thing. People are so preoccupied with not being cringe that they just have to call everything else cringe. And if it's cringe, they have to stay away from it. They have to be like, oh, that's cringe. That's cringe. Embrace the cringe, guys. People are too afraid of cringe these days. I hate cringe culture. What if nothing's cringe? What if you're cringe for thinking things are cringe?
Enjoy Free Guy if you want to. I'm not telling you how to think either. But my last point I was going to make was just
because we are 20 minutes in.
Another superhero I like is Doctor Strange, just because I think the idea behind his powers are interesting. Basically, he's a wizard, but he's like a science wizard. But he's gone full into the multiverse thing. The latest movie, his series, you know, it's all multiverse centric, which makes sense. That's like what his character was based around. But now it's like...
I was going to say, if anybody's to do it, it's him.
Now that he's like the poster child of it, it's like if you aren't a fan of that trope, then you can't really be a fan of him, even if you think he's a cool, like, idea.
Well, that actually reminds me of the last thing I want to say about Marvel movies is that they seem incapable of making any movies just surrounding one superhero alone. Like in No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, it has to involve... First of all, all the new Spider-Man movies had to involve Iron Man for some reason. Okay, whatever. He died now. But then the latest one has to include Doctor Strange. Like, Iron Man was dead. They could have made a movie where it's just Spider-Man, but no, they had to include Doctor Strange. And then... That's
what I'm saying. He's got to be assimilated in with the Avengers. He's got to be assimilated in with the multiverse plot. He's got to have a more generic story, and he's got to...
Which, that part...
all the fan service, the memories.
I guess... if anything, is what detracted from the movie, because I like the old Spider-Mans where he's just his own thing, but now that he's part of Marvel, he's like very much part of the Avengers thing.
He was kind of counterculture in that he was just trying to do things on his own, and now he's just been like assimilated into essentially the militia of the superhero world.
And they make his character seem like he's so honored to be an Avenger.
Yeah.
When I feel like that wouldn't actually be how he'd react. But.
Yeah, I feel like he'd at least be a little more critical of them. But... You want to talk briefly about an Avengers or Marvel adjacent film?
Mario.
Morbius?
Oh. No, I know nothing about it.
Nobody does. You should not. Other than it was hilarious that it was so bad and that it performed so terribly. But people, like you saw the memes, people memed the heck out of it.
I know the memes.
But
I don't know anything about the movie.
I just think it's... Well, you didn't hear about how... people made a joke about
Morbin
about it's the greatest thing ever and everyone should go see it, and they hyped it up so.
got
they
far away.
hyped it up so much that Sony, whoever was made the movie, they were like, we're gonna do a re-showing, a re-premiere, and they were like expecting people to go up ironically, and they did not. And then they did it again. They were like, oh, we were all busy. Do it again. And they did it again. And no one showed up because it was always ironic, but it wasn't even ironic to the point where people would be willing to do anything other than make memes.
Yeah.
And it's so hilarious because people have businesses have marketed off of ironic value before, you know? And so that's kind of what they were cashing in on, but they failed 3 times. And the people behind this were doing it intentionally. I feel like they bankrupt the company. They trolled a major company into bankruptcy over their terrible movie.
They did not bankrupt a company.
I know, but it would have been hilarious if they did. But at the same time, people were doing the same things with the new Minions movie. But that actually did decently because...
No, they helped that movie so much.
Yeah. And I think that's because that movie at least... is enjoyable in some regard. It at least has a sense of whimsy to it. Kids would enjoy it.
Yeah.
As opposed to I developed an accent. As opposed to Morbius.
Yeah, no, the memes of the Minions movie single-handedly carried that movie to success.
But Morbius could not do that. They were antagonistic memes entirely.
We've gotten to the point where the success of a movie can be entirely determined by how nice the memers are.
Yeah.
Either they're gonna make fun of it, or they're gonna make fun of it. They're gonna make fun of it in a negative way, or make fun of it in a goofy, positive way, where it's me and the homies showing up to the Minions movie, which is what they did with the Minions movie, and yeah.
But going back to Marvel for real now, there's one final point. I promise.
It's been half of the pot. I know
you can't talk about Spider-Man and not talk about this. Do you not know that they're making a new Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited
across
for
the
it.
Spider-Verse. Yeah, I am too. I think that's what the title is. Spider-Man.
I thought it was just Into the Spider-Verse 2.
No,
I
think
didn't
that's
hear
the
that
name
there
they
was
gave
official title.
I got it from somewhere. Maybe I looked at a rumor.
Well, yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen enough about it
movie.
to have a complex opinion about it.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
If I wanted to, I could give my opinions on the first movie.
The first one is my favorite animated movie of all time.
I think. It's just I we were talking about this with the AI art about how you got to put creativity in your animation or into your art. That's what they did with animation, with the whole comic book aesthetic.
Yeah.
The creative use of changing frame times.
Well, that's the thing.
FPSs.
Animation that's purely just pretty to look at, Illumination style, which is, I mean, their animation is incredible.
Yeah.
The detail and the textures and everything.
That's why that time you went with a friend to see the Emoji Movie and you came back and I was like, how was it? And I was like, well, the animation was good.
Well, yeah, that's what everybody was saying because it was. The animation is fantastic.
But not only was everything else about it bad, the animation, I'm sure, was probably not very creative in its interpretation.
Right.
Of.
Someday in the future, and a computer will be able to automatically generate an entire Illumination style animated movie based on a prompt.
Movie.
So
honestly, you're probably
they're gonna have to start getting creative. Your job, you no longer will keep your job if you're just good at making things look good and from a purely objective sense. They have to be unique.
But yeah,
maybe we will be competing with robots in the future.
Maybe,
who knows?
But yeah, I mean, we've already.
But this is we've
already got our strategy.
This is a perfect pivot to talk about the Mario movie, not in depth.
Yeah,
mostly actually not the movie itself, but
the fact that we went to watch it,
experience surrounding the movie because it was kind of a funny circumstances.
Dude, I mean, I don't know how much I want to save for our later discussion, so I'll let you start.
Well, our later we're gonna make a video.
Yeah.
On talking a sequel to the predictions video.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say anything about the movie itself.
Okay.
I just want to say, first of all, we almost didn't make it to the movie because of the most torrential downpour of storms imaginable. So I got caught. I was coming back from college, and got caught in that, and it made me quite late coming home. And we had already bought tickets ahead of time because we wanted to get the best seats. The most in the center of the screen.
We were saving 2 seats just for us two, and we were hoping to buy them physically at the last second to not pay anything extra. But they started going right around the time we were questioning it, so we snatched them as soon as we saw that happening.
But the funny part is that nobody checked our tickets. There was not a single person in that theater that was checking tickets.
I saved my ticket as a memento. I did the same thing for Avengers Endgame. I have both halves. They never took it. They never
the other half of the ticket.
They never took the stub. Nothing.
We could have literally just walked right past the concession stand, and walked into the theater. Any theater we wanted.
Yeah.
Any of the movies that they were showing.
Movie watching.
Literally any of them. We could have just walked in.
I told Jason you can make a YouTube video out of this. How many movies can I squat in 1 week at the local theater?
And I think somebody did that because like 3 minutes into the movie, which was really distracting and annoying, but 3 minutes into the movie,
I was too enthralled.
There was a group that came in, and they were in the row behind us, and there was somebody sitting in the seats of the tickets they had purchased, and they were like, "Oh, guys, I think those are our seats. Like on our tickets, it says those are our seats." And they were just like, "Oh, my fault." And I was like, they totally just like walked in and sat somewhere. Because if they had gotten a ticket, they would have gotten a seat number, and they wouldn't be sitting in the wrong seat. So I think somebody actually did that. But I don't know what they're doing because
they're not
crazy.
Enforcing the ticket policy.
I said it's literally it's an honor system. Yeah, it's an honor system that you buy a ticket.
And so I figured like they're just mostly making money off of popcorn because I feel like not even that many people who are acquainted with the theater are actually paying to get in there.
A popcorn restaurant.
Yeah, I called it a popcorn restaurant with a scam website. And the popcorn's not even good, except I was gonna say it wasn't even that buttery. Like we didn't get the butter worth
it was mid. Well, normally
Kristen told us they have a butter pump somewhere, and you put it on yourself, and like flavoring and everything you can add too.
Yeah, but
I didn't know.
I thought they had it like behind the counter, like the ices, where you couldn't do it yourself anymore. But I don't know. Maybe I just missed it. They messed that place up.
Yeah, they did.
That place is bad.
We brought our own Mario gummies.
Sure, we did.
I have some sitting on my.
Now you have some very loud ASMR.
Yeah, that is too close. Sorry, that was clipping. It's
also
coin. That is a messed up coin.
We're not. I mean, I'm not surprised, but there was a lot of kids there, and there was this one kid like pretty close behind us that was just talking the entire movie. And I swear I don't think that they watched a single minute of the movie because they were speaking in Spanish. The kid was speaking in Spanish, so I couldn't tell what she was saying. But what I could make out of the Spanish, what I understood, none of it sounded related to the movie. There was another kid. It might have been in the same family.
Imagine their parents were there just for the movie entirely, and they just dragged their kids. The opposite of the expectation.
Her mom or something was like kept shushing her because she was getting loud. But it might have been the same family. But there's another kid that I at least heard. Like when Donkey Kong showed up, they went Donkey Kong.
One of the kids who was talking sounded like. I mean, it's not that hard to sound like it when you're just a kid, but it sounded like the Luma Bee, and I kept finding that funny. Like the voice was very similar.
But other than the kids being quite loud in the theater, which is I guess to be expected, it was pretty good.
There were a lot of kids who were interested, who brought like Mario plushies. There was a guy wearing a Mario shirt that I have.
Yeah, like a fully grown man.
Yeah, it was not all kids. Our mom, she told me, I didn't tell you this. She was like, what if you show up there and it's all kids? And I was like, Mom, I don't think it's going to be all kids. Keep in mind, this game series
kids
has
have
been
to
around
have
for a
parents
long time.
To go with.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's all I was going to say. It was funny that they didn't check our tickets.
It was a goofy experience because we don't go, it's like... We talked about this on the podcast way back. We don't go to the theater, typically. We wait till a movie is out on DVD and is free to rent from the library. Typically. And then our dad illegally copies it. And then we can watch it whenever we want.
He burns the disc, he burns the DVD onto his laptop.
And then you can't arrest us, though, Joseph Badan, if you are listening to this. Because we never even get around to watching it a second time anyway. So does it really count?
Well, it's not technically piracy.
I think it is. It says like no illegal copying. You can't. It separates copying from sharing. When it says
you can't reproduce it.
Yeah.
So it's technically piracy, but it's not. You could not be like. I don't think you could really be legally prosecuted for it
unless the FBI knocked down your door and just decided to look through your laptop.
Unless you distributed it. Essentially, how that kind of stuff works is in practice. In practice, the law is like if you don't distribute it, that you can't really be prosecuted.
It's another one of those things. If they can't hold you accountable if you don't get caught. Like that's not necessarily in the law, but that's just like how it is. Because how can they if they don't know? And how are they going to know if you don't share it?
So
it is technically illegal either way, though.
I wouldn't call it illegal, though. I mean, I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't call it immoral. I'll say that.
Anyone who, oh well, yeah. I honestly, depending on the circumstances, I wouldn't call sharing it illegal, immoral either.
Piracy is moral.
Piracy is moral.
Piracy is moral.
Piracy
is moral under some circumstances. Don't pirate from like people that would be actually hurt by it. But I think
don't
Illumination
pirate indie
Studios
games.
Would be fine.
Did I tell you there were some people who are already showing how to like pirate Pizza Tower? Don't pirate Pizza Tower. Don't pirate, even if it's from a major company. There were people talking about how to like get pirated ROMs of Metroid Dread when it first when it first came out, and I was like, people have been waiting for a Metroid game for years. Please let the financial like records show that people are invested in it so that we can are
Yeah,
Metroid.
That's more of like a. Like you want to make sure
that's
that
like
actually
when
know
they say
that people
voting
are
with
buying.
your dollar. That's like, why are you, if you're so interested in this game, why are you not willing to vote with your dollar? I mean, if you're like, I mean, I want to say like if you're obsessed with Metroid but are poor, but at that point, like I think you have better priorities than playing video games.
Piracy is moral when you're trying to preserve something that otherwise may be lost. That's my my take on it.
For sure.
Like old Nintendo ROMs, or even not Nintendo, even more obscure like ROMs
the hardcore fans
of
even
old
will
games.
Say,
pirate those to preserve them, to archive
the hardcore fans will say that physical is best for everything, but it's temporary. Like cartridges break down eventually, and that's why they always want ROMs and.
That's why I don't know if the Library of Congress does this, but the Library of Congress should totally have a video game archive.
Absolutely.
Actually, they probably do. They probably
do. I wonder how limited it is, though. Do they have every game from, like, the Atari section during, like, the video game crash of '83?
No.
All those junk
there's
games?
Too many Atari games to count in the universe, so...
We have, like, an Atari, like, jumble pack.
Okay, well, I think we should pivot to something else now. Do you have anything else, or
I could talk more about movies, but I'm fine with having a break.
Okay.
Specifically, just a few things.
I want to keep this really brief, but... Apparently, there's going to be a returning character in our podcast, but MrBeast.
MrBeast? I saw you write that down when you were adding your things to your list. I was like, what happened now? What happened this time?
Dude, you're going to love this. He uploaded a video like a week ago or something. I want you to guess what he did in this video. I want you to guess, if you didn't see it already.
Well, I saw like a few key words. I don't not enough to know exactly what he did. But the thing is, you can't just ask someone, guess what MrBeast did.
I know.
No. He could have done anything. He's MrBeast.
Exactly. So guess what he did.
Okay, I saw the word private jet.
Yeah. Okay. So that's enough of a hint. What do you think he did surrounding?
Did he give a bunch of people a free ride on like a private jet? He didn't gift people a private jet. I hope not.
He did do what you just said, but that was not. That was like 2 minutes of the whole video. What else do you think he did?
Hopefully call out the fact that private jets waste gallons and gallons of gas and contribute to a massive influx in CO2 in the atmosphere.
Not really. Kind of, but that's what I'm going to talk about. So the video is actually just him basically doing like, you ever watched Casey Neistat back in the day?
Yeah.
Used to do
I only seen a little Casey
He used to do the vlogs where he would basically review private jets. He would get like the first class seats. And just talk about them.
I hadn't really seen that.
He used to do that back in the day, and those got really popular because people like living vicariously through like rich people, like
That's
pretending
why I never
class.
really like Casey Neistat.
MrBeast did a video, literally just showing off him riding in different levels of like first class private jets.
He just did the same thing,
like different prices of first
into one video.
Yeah. And I genuinely have no idea what the motivation was. I don't know if he actually rode the jets, like if it was actually just him traveling place to place. But if so, like, I'm sure he has his own private jet. Like, I almost am positive that he has his own private jet. So I think he literally just did it for fun. And then the very last private jet that they were on, which was the most expensive, it was like complete private. There was nobody else on it. Like the
what was it? Was it driven by an AI autopilot?
The other ones were like not private jets. They were just he rode like first class.
Yeah.
In like public airplanes. But then the last one was like a huge private jet, like millions of dollars. And that one he like took a couple of like subscribers on the jet with him.
He took the most private jet and made it the least private jet.
And then he also like. He was like, and do you guys know where we're actually going on this private jet? And they're like, no. They must have. They didn't just agree to get on a private jet. I don't believe that.
No, honestly, dude, if MrBeast told you get on the private jet, that's like asking like the leprechauns, like, do you want a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow?
You gotta like sign a waiver or something, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
Well, you especially have to sign a waiver for this. He was taking them to Disney World and paid for them to have tickets to Disney World. So like, there's no way. But anyways, and then so that was like literally 3 minutes of the video was like his fans on the private jet, but it was mostly just him and his crew. And then at the very, very end, there was a title card at the very end of the video, which was literally like a 10-15 second long title card that just said, oh, also, I'm going to be planting 100,000 trees because of the fossil fuels that we burnt in this video. He basically just said, I'm going to plant some trees because of all of the pollution that I caused.
This is where he seems kind of shallow, because it's like, if you acknowledge that you have to, like,
offset what you just did. You probably should
have
have just
ask
not
yourself,
done it.
Is the content worth it? Because you could have done it. Because again, you're MrBeast. You could have done a million other things.
Yeah, that's what I just.
I mean, in a sense, I'm grateful that he's self-aware, and I know that there's entertainment value to get out of these things that a normal person probably would be willing to do with that wealth and not offset in any way, or even be acknowledged of the consequences of, and honest with. But it's just...
I just really want to know... I mean, he just had the controversy with the blind... curing people's blindness thing.
Yeah.
Which that was actually, like... compared to the private jet, now that seems like he's literally Jesus. But he had controversy with that. And then he was like, I know what my next upload is going to be. Following off the tails of that controversy, me parading around in private jets.
And because the trees don't really work. That's like if you fired a bunch of people and then hired like new people to take their jobs. They still got to go through training. The trees still have to process the air.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
He said it was like
it's not going to immediately fix the problem. It's not even going to definitively fix the problem.
It was $100,000 or 100,000 trees, and then he said like $100,000 or something to like some kind of renewable energy.
Not to mention he's kind of promoting the idea of private jetting, which is probably in itself going to cause a separate spike.
Well, it was just weird. What I really want to know is,
though, I'm not hating MrBeast, but I'm always going to be critical of him because he needs that criticality with all that he can do. He needs to be held accountable.
I just want to know, like, was this? It seems like because it's so much like what's the word? It just seemed like a filler episode.
Yeah.
Like it was so much, it was just them on private jets. There was nothing like his normal videos, nothing like the budget or like the amount of effort normally required for his videos. It was like they just had like a bubble in their production, and they were like, the next video is going to come out too late, so they had to just have some kind of filler.
They were out like stressing out, like on a stress walk, and they were like, oh my goodness, guys, we have no content. And then they hear overhead and they were like, got it. Oh! Sorry. Private jet. I got too loud. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. I was like,
but that's how MrBeast sounded when he realized
I got
private
it.
Jet.
We're gonna ride on a bunch of private jets, and people are gonna love it. But yeah, I had to talk about that because I feel like we just reached a conclusion about MrBeast, and then he did that, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Do you have anything else to lead into? I know you just wrote your notes down. Jason has a habit of forgetting the most important item before he leaves to come home.
I write my notes on my PC, which is in my dorm, which I don't take back.
And then he forgets them and he leaves them there.
Well, my next...
And tries to remember them and write them down when he gets back.
My next topic was brief, but did you see that Linus Tech Tips got hacked?
I heard about that in a sense. I didn't hear it about it in depth.
This actually is a funny connection to... You remember the scams I was telling you about where it's like Elon Musk live streams and then they tell you to tell you
they do that?
Donate his account, and this is what most of the scammers actually are lately that have been. I don't know if you saw about like a couple of years ago, Jim Browning, his channel got hacked.
No,
Jim Browning is the guy who he exposes scams. He exposes scammers.
Oh, I might have heard
he's like,
I mean, there's kind of a few people.
He's like Kit Boga kind of thing.
Yeah.
Although Kit Boga has
Maybe
much more of a performance with it.
I'm not good at remembering names, especially not like actual human names.
Jim Browning
like a username
got his account hacked, and it was I think they just deleted it straight up. I think it was like a ransom thing, like we're gonna delete your account, give us money to get it back or something. I don't know, But a lot of the scammers who have been taking over accounts, what it is they get your account. Oh, it actually happened to Mewtwo King.
Oh, yeah.
Mewtwo King, the Smash Melee competitive player, had the same thing happen. They hack into your account and they turn it into Tesla branding.
Oh, my goodness.
And then they do a 24-hour live stream, or constant 24/7 live stream of like random clips of Elon Musk, and then it's like donate and I'll return your amount in Bitcoin 2 times the amount. And that's like
and
the
I guess
scam
they do it
they
so they can have the subscriber count to make it look official.
Exactly. So that's what they did to Linus Tech Tips.
Oh my goodness.
So what happened was he made a video about it. It was really funny because he included, I guess he has like CRT cameras in his house because he had camera footage. He woke up in the middle of the night and he was naked. He was like butt naked sleeping. And he runs down to his computer because he got like a text in the middle of the night from one of his buddies, like
so
YouTube
wait, did
buddies.
he show footage of this and it was like
censored?
censored?
He was blurred out, yeah.
That's hilarious.
And he was like running down butt naked. He was sitting on his computer butt naked, like freaking out. It was really funny. And I respected it so much because it takes a lot of humility to upload a video of that.
Of you getting hacked naked in the middle of the night.
But basically what happened was he got a fake sponsorship email. Somebody faking a sponsorship offer, and I guess whoever manages their sponsorships, like their advertising team, didn't even necessarily fall for it. But what it was just they opened it up, and there's a file that appears to be a PDF with like information about the sponsorship. So they click it to open it.
Actually, a PBF.
They click it to like read about the sponsorship. Probably gonna throw it out, right? Because they take like 0.001% of sponsorships they probably get.
Yeah.
But they click on the PDF to open it, and it's actually an executable file.
Yeah. The PBF.
But here's the stupid thing. This is all Windows' fault. Because what Windows does, by default now, is hide file extensions for common file type.
That is extremely, that is like a no-brainer.
So what the file name actually was, whatever the name was, .pdf.exe. It was literally just an exe file, but Windows now hides the exe, so it looks like it just says something .pdf.
Why? Literally, why?
Yeah. So that's like I 100% blame Windows for that.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's what Linus Tech Tips said too.
Yeah. Or it wasn't an exe. It was a screensaver file.
Screensaver file.
.scr. And screensaver files, he explains, are basically executable files. They
probably have less security.
They're really they're basically really poorly programmed because they're like a remnant of the older days of operating systems. Nobody uses screensavers anymore.
Yeah,
screensavers are basically exe files that are like you said, really poor security. There's no permission checks.
I'm on a nostalgia trip though. Now that you said screensaver, remember in the old days in the library? Yeah, they had to. Now the library, it was always cool when you walked into the library and you saw them with the pipes, but over time they phased it out and they became a rarity because they just did the glowing moving thing that goes around and shoots little beams. And that one was never cool enough.
The Mac screensaver is really cool though. The rainbow thing that flies around.
Oh yeah, that one.
But anyways, Linus Tech Tips got hacked. So that just goes back to what I was saying. That's the Tesla scam, and man, they're getting some high chance that. Whatever scammer pulled that off, whatever scammer sent that particular email to Linus Tech Tips probably got a promotion.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, he's got 10 million subscribers. You actually got him. Let's go. Cha-ching. But dude, obviously he got his account back because he worked with YouTube to reverse the stuff. But that's pretty scary.
Honestly, the thing about Windows, this combination of large company negligence and growing power in the hands of the average person with AI and just what one person can learn about how to abuse systems that exist digitally. It's really, the internet's just going to become a crapshoot. You know how we always talk about YouTube that way. Trying to get popular, it's there's no way to understand the algorithm. I mean, obviously it's not a complete, there are ways you can go about it, but it's so hard to ever say for sure that anything's going to work the way you expect. One day you're going to get on the internet and you can do whatever you want, have whatever antivirus you want, take whatever precautions. It's just going to be a roll of the dice whether or not someone steals your whole identity. I feel like that's what we're working towards.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, but I don't know. Yeah, security is becoming a big issue because people are getting
It's
smarter and
multifaceted,
smarter
yeah.
about how to hack things. I watched a video recently about how encryption is gonna have to be like redone, like our current methods of encryption, because quantum computers can now crack encryption.
What kind of hacker has access to a quantum computer? Those are like reserved for like two scientists across the globe.
Basically, their projection is
Did I miss some crazy
their
spike
projection is that by the year like 2040 or something, quantum computing will have advanced enough that it's going to be a reasonable threat that people, like bad actors, will be able to access that technology and use it. And the thing is, if even one person has access to it, they could literally decrypt any information they want. So even if one person gets their hands on it, it's all over.
This is like a like fantasy plot line. In the wrong hands, the quantum computer could give someone the power to rule the world. That is why we keep it locked behind closed doors. And you, the sacred programmer, are in charge of keeping it safe.
Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah.
You have any other topics? Since I was gonna say
one thing that happened since we were gone that we never covered. This is from my original list way back, and there is something relevant that has happened recently to make this worth talking about. Is a crossover platform fighters have just become like a genre now. Like PlayStation.
Multiversus?
Yeah, PlayStation tried to make one way back in the day with their mascots as
I remember
potentially few as you could say they definitively had. At least they were on the same level of popularity as Nintendo's. But now it's cartoons. Nickelodeon made one. What was it called? All-Star Brawl? Yeah, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. And that one had quite a few. It looked like it was a quality game and all, but it didn't look like it had that much depth. And they didn't even have voice lines for the characters. They added that in like a patch like way later or something. Yeah, I didn't even know that. It blew my mind. I was like, really? They couldn't even just like take clips from shows and stuff.
Yeah. Then the other one's Multiversus, and both of them died so quickly.
Multiversus actually stuck around for a decent while, and it had like
barely.
But no, here's the thing.
Like 2 months.
It's gone now either ways because I didn't even realize this, but the whole time they were marketing it as like a closed beta, and now they just dropped the servers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so you can't play it at all now?
Yeah.
Online.
Well, actually, I don't know if it's right now or if it's like very soon it's going to be completely closed. I think it is already. I think they're closing off like all online stuff.
That's crazy.
They're phasing it out.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know why they died so quickly, but I guess
they just don't have like the longevity and recognizability of Nintendo.
I think it's just like if you're gonna make something that's so 1-to-1 similar with Smash Bros,
you can't beat Smash Bros.
Like then it's a losing battle.
That's why hold on.
But Brawlhalla.
Oh, okay, no, not Brawlhalla. Yeah, say Brawlhalla.
Brawlhalla
has a lot different about it.
Brawlhalla is, I guess, unique enough, and also it's free is a big thing. I mean, the other ones are free too, but it's free.
Very Smash Bros. Inspired, but I've seen enough just from you playing it with the way the item system and the character selection system works, the special attacks and everything. It's very distinct.
I would dare to say that it's maybe Smash Bros. Inspired, but it is very dissimilar.
It's more like Smash reminiscent.
But yeah, that game is very popular. That game is arguably as popular as Smash Bros.
But yeah, Rivals of Aether, though, did quite a few unique things, too. Just a few tweaks.
They're making a second one. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, that's what actually I was going to say.
Yeah, they just started developing on Aether.
But yeah, I think Rivals of Aether is definitely a lot more Smash Bros. Adjacent. But they put a lot into just coming up with mechanics for individual characters that would set it apart from Smash Bros. Like a lot.
You keep moving away from the microphone.
Like a lot of unconventional characters that you wouldn't expect to be in like an actual like Smash Bros. Character design. I mean, with the DLC characters, actually, that's kind of getting pushed back.
Well, the coolest thing was the coolest thing that they did was the custom character creator.
Oh yeah, that definitely sets them apart.
That was pretty awesome.
That's honestly really impressive. I don't know much about it. I haven't played Rivals of Aether, and I haven't played the
also
character
the
creator,
art style.
But the fact that people can do so much with it.
The art style is also what sets them
sure.
apart. But
I mean, Brawlhalla has that too with its 2D design.
Even as amazing as that game was, it definitely didn't reach anywhere close to the popularity of Brawlhalla. But it is a very cool game. But yeah, I don't know what it is about Brawlhalla. Maybe it's just Brawlhalla's got really good marketing because they got like the Adventure Time crossover, Street Fighter crossover, They've got Steven Universe crossover. They have WWE crossover. They've got John Cena in the game. They have so many crossovers. They have Shovel Knight crossover.
Oh, yeah.
They have so many crossovers that maybe it's just like, maybe that helps them, I guess.
Dude, you said Shovel Knight, and now I'm reminded of, what was that, Indie Pogo or whatever?
What about it?
No, just because that's Smash-esque in the sense that it's a crossover fighter.
Did that ever...
But it's very non-Smash.
Did that ever come out?
Plays. I think it did. But yeah, if it did, then that was even less long-lived than most other ones.
Basically, the moral of the story is that there's... Oh, what was the other one with the fish? What was that?
With the fish?
Something City,
yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
What was it called?
But it was... Dude, that one, it's so goofy. It's so goofy.
Yeah,
I love that one.
But
it's based off of... It's based off of this, like, indie company's, like, software library. And I think that's just really cool that they had enough that they could make their own and that it was actually good. Dude, I watched videos of people playing that. It's just so funny looking. You can, like, charge a smash attack for 10 years.
But, yeah, basically the moral of the story is don't try to make a platform fighter and expect it to be long-lived unless you're really lucky and really unique in some way.
But one thing I was going to say is when I was looking up Multiversus, I was, like, trying to find more stuff about it, and I just looked into, like, Warner... I've been, like, trying to keep up and understand Warner Brothers as a whole. Because, like, over the course of this whole time that they've been doing all this stuff, they like, released Space Jam 2, and I was like, oh, are they trying to, like, make, like, an extended universe or something?
That was such a disaster.
And then they went bankrupt. Did you hear about that?
No, but I'm not surprised.
Or they, like, narrowly avoided going bankrupt?
Space Jam 2 was so bad.
I know. Rick and Morty was in it.
What?
Yeah, they made a cameo. Because apparently Warner Brothers, by extension, owns them.
That's a great pivot to me talking about...
I was going to say, though, Multiversus won Fighting Game of the Year at, like, Game Awards or something.
Really?
Back when it first came out. And that surprised me, too. That's why I was hesitant to have you call it, like, so irrelevant so quickly.
Well, I guess it was relevant back then.
Yeah. It definitely lost its relevance quickly.
There's two pivots I could go here with this, since you mentioned the Game Awards. I'm going to take the Game Awards one. Have you seen that E3 is dead?
Yes, dude. Like, completely.
Yeah.
Because, like, last year it was canceled because of, like, COVID concerns. And now this year it was, like, for the longest time, Ubisoft was, like, the only one hanging on, like, saying, we'll be there. And, like, Nintendo was out. Microsoft dropped out at, like, the last second. And then finally Ubisoft was like, nobody's here. We're going.
It's so sad, though. I mean, I get that they all, like... I feel like what really did it is that PlayStation did their State of Play thing, which is like Nintendo Directs for PlayStation.
Yeah.
Xbox has some kind of presentation, I think. And now it's just like there's no point.
But are they still gonna do like because like it was kind of nice. It was like a celebration. Or, like,
I know it was a convention.
Are they still going to like?
It was a convention.
Are they still going to do like a scheduled time where they all like show their best games or something?
Yeah.
Probably not because they don't want that pressure on them business-wise.
It was like video.
But then again, when you do have something really good to show at E3, that is like an amazing business venture, you know?
Right.
Like everyone's saying like, oh, Nintendo won E3, PlayStation won E3, all this stuff.
It was a video game con. And that's what made it cool.
I mean,
and also
don't downplay it. It is electronics in general, but obviously people got real hyped for the video games.
I'll never get to go. I'll never get to say I went to an E3, but well, it's a electronic entertainment expo.
Well, yes,
so it is.
But I mean, that does include more than video games.
Yeah, but in our context, we're talking about video games. At least part of it was that.
But yeah, it's because I've never gone, and I don't know if I ever... I mean, it is kind of cool, because Nintendo puts up their big displays sometimes.
Yeah, are you telling me it's the end of an era, dude.
No, it's definitely the end of an era.
Remember when Mario 128 got shown at E3?
Or was that Space World? When did Nintendo discontinue Space World?
Oh, yeah, maybe it
their
was
own thing that
it
they
was
had?
Space World, I think.
Dude, bring back Nintendo Space World. Dude, actually, imagine how much of a power play that would be. Nintendo's like, E3's gone? We're bringing back Space World.
But in any case, it's just different. It's just different now.
World?
And I don't know. I feel like it's lame. I feel like there's going to be less interaction and collaboration between big companies.
Yeah.
Everything's just getting more and more corporatized, and I don't like that.
Like I said, there's definitely ways E3 can work for or against a company. But now that they don't have that dependency where they have to play into it because it's going to happen regardless, they're gonna do whatever works best for them financially. Which will probably be something more lazy, at least a little bit less like playing into consumer wishes, and ultimately just less amusing, I'm sure. So it is, like you said, it's definitely downhill for like the splendor of it all.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just E3 is like a driver for them to really try to make something creative that's gonna blow people's minds, so that they can, it's like it gets them competitive. Like you said, it's like who's gonna win E3.
It actually.
And now I feel like it's removed that, and there's gonna be less like companies trying to innovate and be creative and come up with something new, and it's just instead it's going to be FIFA 2024, NBA 2024, NHL 2024, NBA.
It kind of forced like a break in stagnation, because you have to show like something new at E3 sort of.
Wait, what is it? MLB, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
I said NBA.
It's almost like it's like the check mark. It's like, okay, what have you done this year that's different?
Speaking of check marks, Twitter verification.
Are we going to talk about that? More talking about Twitter? Okay, let's go.
It's just stupid.
The verifications are always changing. I can't keep up with it.
It's just stupid.
I don't know what it means anymore. I don't know.
They completely removed... there is no verification anymore, basically. There's no verification. Because everybody who had a legacy checkmark, in other words, was verified before Elon Musk took over, it now says, instead of saying this user is verified because they have a legacy checkmark or whatever.
It's because they paid for Twitter or whatever.
Now it shows the same message for everybody, which is this user either paid for Twitter Blue or has a legacy checkmark. And we're not going to tell you which. So now people that paid for Twitter Blue it says they either paid for Twitter Blue or had a legacy checkmark. You don't know, even if they just played for Twitter Blue, and vice versa. There is literally no form of verification anymore. It is just, if you've paid $8, you have a check mark. There's no verification. There's no way you can know if people are, like, actually important people or not.
Dude, I'm, like, shook up over this. I didn't know the exact details. I heard about this.
Maybe, like, populists think this is cool because now there are no celebrities on Twitter or something. But it's stupid.
But now you're creating a sense of elitism to people just for having money to throw at something.
But do you want to know something also? This is the other part of it. Now so I don't know if you've seen, but there's the golden check marks for brands.
Okay, yeah, that was the part I really didn't know.
The golden check marks, I think they didn't cost before. They now cost $1,000 a month for a company. And now I know what you're thinking. For a company like Nintendo, that's negligible. That's a drop in the bucket.
You guys can't see this, but I have this look on my face.
That's like a drop in the bucket for a big company. But get this. It's free for the big companies. It's free for like the top 100 companies. But the smaller companies, if they want to be verified companies, have to pay $1,000 a month. Mom and Pop Joe Schmo down the road who makes pizza.
I was going to say Joe Schmo, dude. We share our brains.
Yeah. Has to pay $1,000 a month if they want to appear as a verified business on Twitter.
But I'm also thinking like some guy running a scam business that is like profitable enough or who just has like a money bank somewhere, rich parents. He can just be like, I'm a major company.
Right, and that was the problem from the get-go. Dude, we're going to see...
The real original get-go problem when no one could figure out what the checkmark was when people would literally just pose as brands. Dude, wait, did we talk about that? And like, what was... The
Lily Scholl, the insulin?
Yeah, the insulin.
No, what was it called? Lily something.
Whatever the brand was, they were like, we're now giving away insulin.
Eli Lilly.
And their spikes their stocks just plummeted.
Yeah.
There was somebody who was posing as Nintendo, and they were posting images of Mario flipping people off.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's just like, you feel like you should have realized the chaos of messing with this system early on, but they did not.
You have to think...
And by they, I basically mean Elon Musk.
If, like, scams are profitable, otherwise people wouldn't put so much effort into them if they weren't turning a profit. I'm sure that if they executed it properly and got lucky, they could do, like, a Tesla-style scam. Yeah. You know, say, like, Tesla Bitcoin department. Somebody's going to make that their name. Pay the $1,000 once for like at least for 1 month, and then in that month, if they can make more than $1,000, their scam is successful. Yeah, like it's that simple. It's just not super simple, investment. But that's bad. Like that's bad.
And because now he's doing the thing, where like in like a few days, if it goes to the plan he originally said, he's put stuff off a lot of times. Elon Musk. He said that you have to pay to like have your posts show up in like random people's like recommended section.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. The For You page.
And this is where I'm so upset because he's literally just aggrandizing people's ability to be able to throw money at stuff. Like I said,
it was previously. He said it was going to be the ultimate free speech platform. It is literally now. You have to pay $8 to speak.
It is the ultimate anti-free speech platform.
It's so funny. It's literally the exact antithesis.
It's like, because you're literally like sorting people out into groups who can be heard and can't be heard by money.
And it's classism.
And you
it's
can
literally classism.
Yeah, and under a classist mentality, you can still make the argument, well, like, oh, the most valued opinions are by those who like can churn a profit because that shows that they're successful or something. Not saying I believe that, but you can argue that, I guess. But here's the thing, if you're arguing that and you're putting that argument in place without other people having a way to fight against it, that's not free speech, you idiot.
Okay. We had to get our Elon Musk clip in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Elon Musk.
Peek of the microphone
Elon Musk.
moment.
If I saw Elon Musk, I would bite his nose off.
There's number 2. The other part of that is also you can't vote in polls anymore unless you're verified. What?
Yeah, that's just. I mean, that's literally like taking. I mean, that's the.
Hello, sir. Are you here for the 2024 presidential election? That'll be $25.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's like literally the social media equivalent of taking democracy away in like a free speech, anti-free speech world.
It's so funny. Like
it's so hilarious.
He has to be self-aware, but he makes. Dude, it's the most ridiculous sounding excuses.
He is
Did you hear what he said to justify the verification thing? He said it's the only way to combat the mass bot swarms that are taking.
And he says this
I've
every
never
time.
seen a bot. I've never seen a bot on Twitter.
I haven't either. I've seen them on YouTube. I've seen them everywhere. I haven't seen them on Twitter. I mean, I'm sure they're there, but
not like YouTube comments if you want to see bots. I've never seen anything.
Our
like
channel
that
has never had 20 subscribers, and I've seen bots in our comments. I had to delete one once. They were like trying to link to their OnlyFans or something.
Yeah.
Their OnlyFans.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's like Elon Musk is the most like out of the closet, in the closet lizard person I've ever seen. Like he's basically like, just so you know, I'm a lizard person, but I mean like,
but he's still from.
I'm trying to help you. I'm not really a lizard person. I lie about everything for my own personal benefit, but I mean, like he is this corrupt guy, and I have no idea how anyone still sees him as anything other than just like a like financial tyrant.
I mean, you have to be self-aware. I mean, or you have to be aware of it at this point. Like you can't just be like, oh yeah, this is free speech. It's part of the process.
Bro,
it's crazy.
It's so sad. Because I really did. If I was going to be an artist, I was going to be on Twitter just because I thought it would spread the best. Now it's not. I have to pay.
Yeah. But that's the other thing, the For You page.
Bro, I'm going to Newgrounds.
The For You page is like, it's just bizarre, random, like fight videos and stuff. Like, I get like 3 fight videos every 5 scrolls on the For You page.
That's not good.
Because it's like the most rudimentary.
It's going to become like the social media equivalent of hell. It's just going to be like you're trudging through filth and like degradation.
It's like the most low-level, like algorithmic recommendation system ever, where it's just like more engagement means push it more. So it's like live leak style stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The stuff that's more enraging or
it's like you were talking
bizarre.
He's going to turn it into like TikTok for rich people.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. TikTok's problem was that it was just the high engagement stuff got boosted up, and that's how all these like gouge your eyes out challenges were being like the most popular thing.
TikTok, but you have to pay $8 to post your ridiculous content.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just stupid. Everyone's just gonna go to TikTok because it's gonna be just as toxic and terrible.
I mean,
but it's gonna be way less.
Like
money.
Actually think about how many like artists and people are gonna leave when they have no way of promoting their stuff anymore unless they want to pay, which they're probably not getting a return on that if they're not big enough in the first place. It's so crazy.
I almost feel like we should stop. I feel like we're feeding into something. Like, we've just been ranting about how terrible something that's obviously terrible is.
True.
Like, at this point, we just need to, like, get off of it.
We're venting.
Yeah, I know. We are venting. Like, you got on me when I was talking about Elon Musk before, but it's unavoidable. Elon is just the most ventable person.
Let's close the vents.
He just so blatantly.
Let's close the vents. Now, I mean, if you want to transition to something else relevant, I was also going to talk about the TikTok Congress hearing.
TikTok. Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if there's enough time.
Well, that's the thing. We were rambling for a long while. We're looking at our recording time right now. We're getting a little bit meta here. We don't know when we actually started
that episode. I think we're at about an hour now. So maybe we should call it. I don't know. How fast can we talk about the TikTok
you said
Congress
you wanted
here?
to make it like a 199 podcast, just shy of like 2 hours.
So wait. No, 129 is what I said.
Oh, 129?
Yeah. I forgot that
I guess
said
the real equivalent of 199 with a video would be 159, obviously.
Yeah. I was saying just under, like about an hour and a half is what I was thinking we could do.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, I forgot about that. I forgot that was our plan. Guys, welcome to the new podcast format. The episodes are now a little bit longer. Because that way there's more content if you want it, and if you don't, then that's okay too. But you're going to want to stick around to hear us talk about the TikTok Congress hearing. Do you have any thoughts about it? Did you watch any of it?
I did.
You see the funny moments? The funny moments?
I haven't seen the funny moments.
The highlights? The highlight reel?
I skimmed Critical's video talking about it.
Okay, yeah. I watched his video as well.
It's just...
They're so dumb.
I feel like I'm going through layers of this because, like, there's no way these people, like, high-ups in the government and in the finance world and stuff that I'm sure they must be aware of cannot know, like, how technology works and how, like, actual scams that even Americans do.
I know.
Like Facebook, how it works.
So bad.
And so my final, like, resting point is almost like, I think they actually do know how these things work, and they're on TikTok's side, and they're trying to make sure that the truth never comes to light by making both sides look like idiots.
Literally, it's...
Because we're already sort of against TikTok. A lot of people are like, yeah, there's security concerns here. And also, like, just the platform itself is a concern when how it's, like, shares content and what sort of things it promotes. But then we can't side with the people who are fighting against it because the only people who have, like, a position where you're actually allowed to fight against this stuff are the old coots in our democracy who don't know what, like, a computer is.
And here's the other issue. What they really needed to prove in that hearing was that TikTok was in some way special if they wanted to ban it.
Yeah.
Because everything that they said about TikTok is the exact same thing they could have said about literally any internet platform whatsoever.
Because there was a Facebook hearing, too, and it had the same problem.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what they were talking about.
But anything that they're talking about, the privacy concerns, is true for any American company as well. Not even social media. I mean, everything collects your data. Literally everything. So they did not bring up one single...
There was literally this... Because you were talking about, like, the funny moments. There was this point where they were like, does TikTok collect your data? And the guy was, like, trying to say, literally everything collects your data. And he was like, yes or no.
Yeah.
And he kept pushing it until he said, well, yeah.
He was like, yeah, you enter your name and your birthday and stuff.
And then the thing is, because when this first started, it was trending on Twitter. And I checked the hashtags, and there were, like, these Elon Musk fanboy types who were, like, hard right. And they were posting that clip as if, like, got him, they collect data.
Twitter doesn't collect data, let's go.
Like, what are you just as, like, technologically illiterate as these people? And, like, I'm like, I thought these people were maybe, like, edgy, like, early 20-year-olds, but I guess now they're like 90-year-olds.
But yeah, my favorite was when the one congressman said, all right, now tell me, does TikTok connect to your personal private Wi-Fi network? And he was like, yes.
There was
to access the internet? Yes, it does. And he was like, okay, so what you're telling me is it can connect to your personal network? And he was like, yeah. Like,
does this app use the internet?
I know, literally. It's like, that's actually what he was just asking.
There was the one where the guy kept saying, like, does it read face data? And it was like, just for filters and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he was like, so you're telling me that this thing could read whether your eyeballs dilate in response to certain content on screen?
Yes, I saw that.
And then he was like, no, we just use it so we can read where your eyes and mouth are for face filters. Well, that's creepy too. And it was just like, it's just a joke.
I know.
We're never going to make progress as a country because the people in power are either evil, smart people or stupid,
I know,
powerful people.
It was like a red herring for TikTok. Like you said, they literally threw TikTok the most softest softball ever. I mean, that Mr. what is his name? Chu. He was probably walking out. He was like swag walking out of that building after it was done. He was like, all right, that was awesome, dude. That was so good.
And, like, because the problems with TikTok, I mean, I agree with Critical on how people should still be allowed to have access to whatever they want. It's a free country. Like, I don't think it should be outright banned or anything. But there are legitimate concerns. But no one's going to pay attention to them.
We should pay attention to, like, regulating certain stuff more.
Yeah.
But they're never once going to make a good argument for it.
Because they don't know what they're talking about, and the average person who does isn't allowed to speak on this stuff.
So tell me, does your app send data through the interwebs?
And here's the thing, I can't believe people are actually this stupid. That's why I think it's like a Freemason conspiracy here, where it's just like, okay, guys, we got our lines covered on how to look stupid, right? Because we got to make sure that this all plays through to plan.
Maybe this is like pointing out a flaw in our legal, our governmental system. Maybe, like, you know, we elect representatives to it's a republic democracy. We elect representatives to represent groups of people.
A representative of technology, please.
But, right. I think maybe we need representatives who have, you know, represent
niches,
certain specialties, certain subjects that they can actually be informed about. Because it's kind of terrifying that we have lawmakers and government officials who interpret and use the law that, like, actually don't even know the stuff that they're trying to write or enforce. Like, they actually just don't know anything about it. And they're just using, like, their personal judgment or morals, just the whimsy.
The worst thing I heard, and I didn't fact check this, I'm sorry, I didn't have time. I heard someone, it was on a Twitter post, saying that the bill that they were originally putting in place that would have banned TikTok if they could push it through really didn't mention anything relevant to TikTok as a whole, and it would have just allowed them to essentially ban any sort of, like, idea shared on the internet or accessed by someone on the internet that they didn't approve of. Like, not even just software, like an application, but anything that they didn't approve of someone accessing. They're like, imagine how terrible that would be if the government did something and they didn't want you to look into it, so they just blocked you from being able to access any source for it. And honestly, that's like the end of it. Again, I didn't get to look into it. Fact check me. We don't have, like, what is it, Joe Rogan? He's like,
the Joe Rogan.
Jamie, look into this.
Jamie, yeah.
Yeah, we need a Jamie. But, I mean, that's the end of, like the Freemason theory I got going here. Like, this is all just set up to put this law into place. I mean, technically, they would kind of be working against it, looking like idiots. But they can get it passed anyways. And then you know, maybe that's the thing. The court hearing is the distraction. We're too focused on that, and not on the fact they're literally passing a law that allows us to see truth or not on the internet.
It's just crazy. You feel like we would have learned something after the whole Facebook hearing debacle, because that was the same deal. It was the same
literally
exact...
the end arguments you had here about, even my end arguments to an extent, could all be made for that. Like this is pointless. We need someone who actually knows what they're talking about.
We're literally going backwards as far as making
Facebook is
progress
terrible
towards
too.
regulating and ensuring privacy and stuff online. Like, we actually really should. Like, I'm very passionate about that. That, like, companies collect way too much data. They shouldn't be able to sell your data to advertisers, at least not in the same capacity that they do now. And I mean, I don't even think these Congress people know the words that I just said. I don't even know if they know what I mean. They would do, like, that thing where you nod your head, but then they're just like, please change the subject. I don't want you to ask me a question about the things you just said. I don't know what you're talking about. Literally, if even one of them had just said, explain how you collect data and what advertisers you sell it to. If they had asked a question like that...
They were asking, like, tinfoil questions.
They could have dismantled him.
I know, they could have dismantled this man.
They literally could. But at least they would have made him think. I mean, I'm sure he would have had a prepped response ready.
They asked him tinfoil hat conspiracy questions with, like, the vocabulary of a kindergartner.
Literally. Oh my God. I'm sure he had, like, notes prepared for tough questions. He didn't have to look at them once.
Yeah, he didn't have to...
Like, they didn't ask
Easiest
anything
test.
About advertisers.
He went in there studying for a college, entry exam, and they gave him, like, a 5-year-old's, like, spelling test.
Now, I will say, I didn't watch the whole hearing, obviously.
Yeah.
And we're seeing probably the stupidest clips from it, so it's possible that we're getting some of this
I
wrong.
already know that, but I feel like the fact that these many clips, like, if this is the peaks, and there are these many peaks... I mean, you can't recover.
Right. That just already says enough.
I mean, unless something incredible happened, but then I would be seeing clips of that too, I assume. I know negative stuff spreads more quickly, but I'm sure that stuff would still pop
Even
up
if somebody made a really good point, I mean, you've just hurt your credibility so bad with all the other stupid stuff that the other people said.
I was going to say, though, because now we're going on a rant about this. We're all stuck in a rut. But we mentioned, because I mentioned Facebook and how that was just as bad, and Facebook is just as bad in some ways. We never even talked about like Meta or the Metaverse or anything on the podcast, at least in depth.
Well, I think it's kind of over now. I think they're giving up on it.
Yeah, but I think it's hilarious. It's kind of like what happened with Elon Musk. Like, oh man, Elon Musk put all this money in Twitter, and now it's just failing miserably. Mark Zuckerberg was like, this Metaverse is the next big thing, and everyone just hates it. And I hope he just crashes and burns.
Oh, I think we actually briefly talked about that. That I think maybe the power is getting...
That I think we did, yeah.
The power is getting more and more in the people now, and it's actually having the power to make the big...
Why use the Metaverse when
companies
you have
fail?
VR chat?
Right. I think it's actually a bit of a reversal in the power dynamic that we have.
Like, I literally just don't know what was going through his head that he thought people would actually like this. When he knows technology exists out there and is better in just about every way. And like, his only selling point is just that, like, a corporation is behind it. And like, why is that a positive?
Here's the other big issue. A lot of it was, like, seemed like COVID-centric. Like, quarantining. Yeah. Like, you'll be able to talk to your friends virtually. Dude, how tone-deaf do you have to be? Like, nobody wanted that.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to have to do that.
He was in talks with, like, the shadow government. He wanted them to, like, perpetuate...
Prolong the pandemic.
So that he could be like, I want this to be a forever thing. So that Metaverse can be relevant.
Why would you plan on the pandemic being a more commonplace, like, that people would have to use this technology, which is the exact opposite of what everybody wants, and now you're trying to market that as something appealing? I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of, like, he went so far into this technology that seems dystopian, but it's not even good. Like, he didn't even make anything that you would want, even if it was, like, not scary, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it doesn't even stand up on its own two legs by itself, literally because they didn't have legs.
Yeah, that's hilarious. VR chat has full body tracking if you invest in it.
Yep.
But then now you're just walking around like little, like, ping pong Mii's.
Mii characters.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Like, yeah, we already did that too.
Also, quick disclaimer. Every time I mention the shadow government, add a little, like, /HJ at the end.
Half joke.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want the shadow...
Yeah,
government on our backs.
Yeah, we don't. /half-J.
/half-J.
I half translated the
half-J.
Half-J.
Half-J. Half-HJ.
You got anything else to touch on the
well, we got a little bit more time.
Technological overlords?
We're going to go until, like, what, 1:30, 1:40, so...
When I mentioned Rick and Morty and you made that distasted face, I didn't know if you were going to bring up Justin Roiland.
Yeah, that is. Because I don't know if you saw, but all of the charges...
We're just going all out on talking about famous people doing terrible stuff.
All of the charges against him were dropped. All of the domestic abuse, false imprisonment charges.
Yeah, now let's see about all those minors he texted.
Yeah.
That's really just the end result of everyone saying that. That was everyone's response.
I don't know if you saw a statement. I actually didn't read it. I didn't even feel like it.
I didn't read the full thing.
But he was just like...
Actually, I might have.
He was just like, yeah, I had confidence this whole time that I was innocent and that these charges would be dropped, and I totally didn't bribe the judge.
It was so textbook.
Totally didn't bribe the judge into dropping the charges.
Yeah, like, we don't even know anything about this. I didn't even know. I didn't hear anything
from... Like, can we get a statement on why the charges were dropped?
It's so shady.
Can we get some explanation on why he had not countless, but several charges against him and they're just magically gone?
Yeah.
Like, that's weird. But I don't think he's going to get his jobs back.
Yeah.
So that's the good part, I guess.
But I think he's playing it like he will because he thinks that's, like, the best scenario for him.
Yeah.
He's just like, I did nothing wrong.
Maybe he hopes he will, but, like, nobody wanted to work with you when you still had your job.
Yeah.
Definitely nobody's going to want to work with you now, so I don't know. Maybe he's going to, like, open his own new indie Rick and Morty 2 studio and, like, make some new show.
Mick and Morty.
But... yeah, there wasn't much to that. I was just, man, it's so bad. He's really ruined himself, and this definitely did not help him. Like, I don't know if he thinks he's gonna get respect back.
And to be fair, the stuff about him texting minors, that isn't proven outright either. But I think it's kind of hilarious that, like, his response acted like those other accusations, and also stuff just about saying he was a terrible person to work with, like they never even existed.
Yeah, he's just like,
this is the only concern, and the court says I'm okie dokie, so there's no reason to lament on it.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Exactly.
Stop looking into that. Stop. Let me work on Rick and Morty again, please.
Did you see that? Did you see the guy on 4chan that got arrested?
No, I didn't. I saw you write that down on your thing. I mean, that's a pretty vague topic. I'm sure people from 4chan get arrested every day.
So basically, well, now they might. Basically, what happened is there's this sheriff of some county, and he's pretty liberal, but for some reason was going real hard on this speech about like anti-Semitism, and how it's a big issue, and how he wants to like, destroy all the Nazis and like the anti-Semites and stuff.
Okay.
That was the sheriff of this county, whatever, I forget his name. And basically, for some reason on 4chan, they took huge issue with his statements. I don't know if it's specifically the anti-Semitism or like other comments he made that were like left-leaning comments.
It's one of those things
just about generally like not hating other people and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like,
it's one of those things where people speak in buzzwords and you hear the wrong buzzword. It's like, oh, he's our enemy now.
Yeah. So basically there was this group of people on 4chan, this is bizarre in the first place. Like, how would you have known about this random sheriff?
Yeah, I know.
Who's like states away from where the guy in 4chan was.
Yeah, not only that, but like if you go looking for it, you can find these type of talking points anywhere.
Yeah.
How'd you just stumble upon this guy and decide that he was your number one enemy? Just because he's a sheriff?
I'm
sure there's other sheriffs.
I can't remember where the sheriff was. Maybe somewhere in like the Midwest. But this 4chan guy was in like New Jersey. Or something like that. I don't remember. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think he was like even the sheriff of anywhere near where the 4chan guy lives. So it was like, how do you figure out about this? But anyways, they start like this group conversation on 4chan with a bunch of like,
sorry for creaking my chair.
Incels, and they're like, yeah, this guy like, he's crazy. He's one of the he's like this is one of the enemies. He's like a liberal and he's destroying society and like I hate gay people.
Good.
We need to kill him.
The dude's like Nazi, so they're like SJW. He's
yeah,
like anti-Semite.
Literally, and so what
Incel?
the one guy said. He's ruining society. The best solution would be to just go ahead and just get a gun and just kill him. And then at the bottom is like 2 new lines down, 2 paragraphs down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we just gotta take him out.
He said we gotta kill him, and then line in Minecraft, of course, because that's what people have been doing to like. Oh, I wish I could beat that guy up
it's kind of
in
scary.
Minecraft because it's like, oh wait, I'm just
like,
joking.
There was like someone showing like an FBI database type thing where they have that like listed as like. Be warned, if someone says in Minecraft, they don't mean in Minecraft.
Yeah.
But it's like scary because people also say that as a joke. So like imagine you jokingly make some threat and then say the in Minecraft thing and they're like, is he serious? Imagine the FBI looking at you thinking that.
But somebody found that message. They traced his personal identity and his location from his 4chan account and they arrested him as that being a threat.
Yeah.
Where previously that was like, you could say you're joking so you get off on that. And he got arrested. And dude, I encourage all of you to watch the body cam. They had really good footage of the whole arrest. Please watch it if you're able to.
Oh, yeah, they have real good body cam footage because he wasn't black.
True. And also because, and this is where I admit, they kind of made it just like a publicity stunt to like say, we got the 4chan guy, which it's morally questionable.
We got 4chan!
They were basically just like making fun of him, which is, I mean, yeah, he was stupid, but they purposely had good, like you said, body cam footage. And dude, he is if you imagined 4chan as a person, he is it. He kind of looks like you, but like he's like fatter. But
he looks like me, but
he has the hair. He has the long curly hair, but like it's like greasy and gross.
Oh, well, my hair's a little greasy. I didn't
he has like
a
beard that is like the least dense beard you've ever seen, but it's like really far down his chin. Like,
oh no, I've seen people like
just
that.
Unkempt.
But that's not me. My beard,
like,
my beard is kempt, and even when it's not, it doesn't look like
white
that.
T-shirt. Like he looked like Charlie, like Moist.
I don't wear
Critical.
white T-shirts. You can see my nipples through them.
He looked like Moist Critical, but not jacked, basically.
Pathetic Moist.
And yeah, and you can probably see his nipples through them. But it was almost sad. It almost made me sad because the police came up to the house. And his mom answered the door.
Oh, no.
And it was like, hello? What are you guys doing?
That's so hilarious, though. You hear these people who are like, they're trying to be heroes on the internet, like, this is the best thing for society. Hate to do it, but it's the job that's got to be done. I'm going, guys. Wish me good luck. Also, I live with my mom.
Yeah, also, I'm unemployed and I live with my mom. But my contribution to society is going to be threatening to kill people because I don't agree with them.
Oh, man.
But, Dude, it was so sad. His mom opened the door and was like, "Why are you guys here?"
Why are you here?
But she was so sweet. She was like, "Okay, come in." And they're like, "We're here to see your son or whatever." She's like, "Okay." And then she called up to his son and she was like, I don't remember his name, but she sounded so concerned and she like called him downstairs.
Dude, this is.
And she's like, "What's going on? What happened?" And the guy just knows. The 4chan guy just knows. Like, he doesn't even question it. He just walks in and they just handcuff him and he's like,
I'm ready to go.
He's just like, his head is down and he's just like, dang it.
Dang it. Dude,
they arrested me.
If you're out there and you have like terroristic or politically extremist views, literally just imagine how your parents would react to them.
Yeah.
Please. I feel like that would stop a lot of like terrible ideas.
Yeah.
Is this should we be recording this in stereo?
This microphone doesn't record in stereo.
Oh,
because
okay.
It's one microphone.
That makes sense. Sorry, I got distracted by the visuals on screen.
When we get the budget to have 2 microphones, then we'll technically be recording in stereo.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
we can each record our own.
I've been wondering if I should flip the audio waves for us, because I'm on the left and you're on the right.
Yeah, but
your voice is actually bassier, so the waves show up for you on the left more often and mine on the right.
But now you realize you can't because it's recording in mono, not stereo.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about the bass and the treble and the way the waveform looks.
Oh, you mean just reflect the video?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Generally speaking.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Once we get 2 microphones, I can make...
But then it'll technically be inaccurate, because that's not the waveform.
I can make my own custom program that shows the waves coming from each of us and, like, colliding and stuff. That'd be cool. Funny. I'll program something like that. Yeah. And then it'll be like the 1-2 switch the wizard battle, but with our waveforms. And then when you clip the microphone, it's like, it turns the whole screen red and it, like, breaks.
But yeah, I guess your takeaway from that story was just that...
You can no longer say in Minecraft as an excuse or as a...
Nor can you use your internet anonymity to get away with vague threats.
If you're going to live with your mom, please don't make her have to be greeted by the police at her front door.
Yeah.
Like,
I would never do
your
that.
mom a favor, and if you're going to be like a terrorist, go live somewhere else. Go live in a cardboard box. I don't know. But, yeah. I guess we're about to end off this episode.
Yeah. This is a more heavy episode, man.
Yeah.
We just talked about like terrible people in power and then ended it with some guy like making like a terroristic threat and getting arrested.
The only topic that
his mom crying.
The only topic you provided was the movies. Did you have
anything else? Well, that's the funny thing. I started off talking about movies and I was like, I could say a little bit more and we could get back to this.
What?
And we never did. Join us next week of the podcast where I talk about the one other movie that I haven't mentioned yet that I want to see.
Well, you can mention it now. We got like...
there was inclusion of other
5
stuff.
minutes.
Because I was going to talk about other movies that I don't want to see.
Okay. Well, I guess you'll have to join us next time then. Any 5-minute topics? Any 5 minute... This can be our meta time. We can talk about ourselves.
5-minute topics? 5-minute topics?
We can talk about ourselves for 5 minutes.
My job coach had me submit an application to the game company that Justin Roiland owned.
Really?
Right before all this happened, yes.
Really?
Yeah, Squanch Games.
No way!
I mean, you saw the game he made, right?
Yeah, High on Life.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Obviously, they didn't want me because I haven't made anything that like fits that caliber of game type. But imagine an alternate universe where I worked for Justin Roiland.
Games. Wow, this podcast would have a whole different meaning to it then.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I'd be in like a whole different mindset. Like I wouldn't necessarily believe different things, but it'd be a crazy world we'd be living in.
Yeah. And you'd be able to tell us about Justin Roiland first.
Yo, dude, imagine if I leaked personal information about him. Like I was like,
you're the whistleblower.
What if I had him on video and everything? Like being a jerk.
Oh yeah, I beat my wife. Yeah, I texted those minors.
Yeah. I pretend to be like his friend.
You're like the hero of the internet.
I'm double agent. Yo. Dude, my life would be completely different.
But you wouldn't be able to expose them if you didn't have Twitter Blue, because nobody would be able to see it. So, gone are the days of Twitter cancellation.
Yeah, you're right. Elon Musk and Justin Roiland are in cahoots. You heard it here first. That's my whistleblow.
Man. But yeah, we're going to rebrand the channel soon. Maybe by the time... No, not by the time you see this. Well, but we're gonna be rebranding. We're going to be expanding. Do you have anything to say about that? I didn't know
we were gonna throw this in at the end. We did talk about this earlier, though.
Yeah, so I figured.
But yes,
to close off this episode, we can just.
Well, here's the thing: the rebranding is an aesthetic thing, which means it falls in my hands.
No, I'm gonna help, dude. 2 years ago, I asked you. Literally, tell me anything I can do to help rebranding. I love branding. I love
branding.
I mean, you've seen my YouTube channel. I love making my branding, my art for my channel. And I am a graphic designer and an artist, okay? So you are more of an illustrator, but I am an artist.
I'm an illustrator and an animator.
I am more of a designer.
And a mechanical game designer. Rather than an
illustrator. But I do illustrate, too. Not as good as you, but I'm a designer and illustrator. Let's say that. But anyways, I asked you like 2 years ago when we were originally going to, plan for the 12th time to do something with the channel. I was like, tell me anything I can help with, but then you didn't. So you just need to get better at collaborating with me. I'm a tool at your disposal.
It's true. It's interesting. We both have trouble making like plans on this kind of thing, though, because I think we both know that they may fall through, you know?
Well, that's the thing. I was going to make stuff and just send it to you, but then you're going to be like, not exactly what I was thinking. So I need you to tell me. We need to design something. We need to literally write something.
Well, see, your problem is you think I'm gonna shoot it down because it doesn't match my ideal, and you're probably right. I'm gonna shoot it to you because it's a double-sided thing.
You're gonna shoot me in Minecraft?
Yes. You're like very like, there's not a word for it. You're very like just pro-productive, and I'm very pro-ambition. So, dude, this is another topic that I could get into. But we can't do this. The point is, I may shoot down some of your ideas for not meeting my standards. Or, I don't want to say standards because it's not like you're not good enough. But my vision.
Your vision, yeah.
Yes. But if I shoot my ideas at you, I'm worried you're going to say, bro, that's literally impossible.
Well, why not?
It may very well be.
Okay, here's what we're going to do after this podcast, or sometime in the near future. You guys can hold us accountable by commenting in the comment section to remind us to do it. I think we should make a document where we can plan things and write ideas, and we can lay out an idea.
And we're telling this to everyone watching.
For how we can brand. Because if I tell you now, you'll listen to me. You'll take it seriously.
True.
We can write out a template, get an idea for the design, like a code. Because this is what real people do in the real world. We can, like, make a code.
Yo, dude, no, wait, what was it? Like, back in... No, dude, do you remember back in, like, elementary and, like, middle school where they would be, like... They would set us all at tables. Be like, you need to, like, create a
social contract?
Yes!
Yeah.
Dude, that was so weird.
That was
It was, like,
weird.
trying to make us into governments or something.
Yeah, I feel like that was a little bit of, like, weird.
But you know what? It might work for something like this.
But we're gonna make it a design code, okay? We're gonna figure something out. And then... If we do that, we'll both be on the same page, meaning we can work independently, share stuff, and modify it as necessary, because that's what collaboration is. I can share you something, you can be like, tweak it like this, and I'll tweak it like that.
I can tweak it.
And then we can do something. But that's a skill that you need to work on. Maybe I can help. Maybe I can work on it too. But I think you need to work on it a lot.
The fate of the galaxy rests in the hands of two brothers. Can they work together to create
the escape pod?
To guide the escape pod. You want to say it together?
Yeah.
The escape pod.
Oh, yeah. While I'm here, we should do some voice acting, if there's any voice acting we need to do.
Voice acting?
We can make a little animated intro. It could be like Justin Roiland, like Rick and Morty style. It's like... Dun,
you were talking to me. This is the real reason why I don't shoot out any ideas, is because I feel bad throwing out ideas for which I don't even have, like, the basis put out for them yet.
Right, so you need to make the basis if you don't have the basis.
But that means I have to finish something. And, you know, that's my weakness.
Okay, well...
I was going to ask you for a design for an escape pod.
I can do that. You should have asked me that sooner, but I can do that.
Okay, even without the context of what I'm going to use it for.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be channel branding.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why don't we just sit down and we draw stuff? We just doodle stuff.
I love when we sit down and draw stuff. I always end up doodling Marios, but...
well, that's what I'm saying we should do.
Or you draw a piece of poop and I turn it into an ice cream swirly.
That happens like every time.
Yeah, that's we have a running gag where Jason draws a piece of cartoon poop and I put it on a cone and I draw a guy eating it. And it's like
there's a bit of a double meaning.
Yeah, no, one time he wrote the word poop like above the poop, so it was like labeled. And I wrote delicious, and then I scratched out poop ice cream. And so now it's like a joke here. We wrote it in the sand at the beach once.
Yeah, we did.
And it stayed there in a while before the waves washed it away. So people walking by were... It's hilarious.
But, yeah, it'd be easier if we had like a design studio and like whiteboards and stuff, and we could just like draw and just like
yeah, we need our studio.
That'd be pretty good, cool.
Dude,
I'm jealous of people that have like. Studios
I didn't
like
even
that.
say it, but you keep
love
bringing
whiteboards.
up stuff that.
Dude, whiteboards are so cool.
Yeah, that's why I put one in on our room background on your side.
They're awesome.
I love cork boards where I can put my random theories.
That too. That's our studio would be like the stereotypical like bunker.
Yeah, dude, we'd be like a secret lab in the woods. We'd be like Professor Egad in the original Luigi's Mansion.
And that would be really cool background for the podcast as well.
Yeah, honestly. Dude, that's why there's no windows in this one. This is the first background that has no windows, so we can be wherever you want us to be.
We've said far too much already, and this is about where we're going to end the podcast.
Yeah. You keep making me think of topics that I don't even want to bring up.
Well, that's why we're going to have another episode at some point.
Yeah, which is good because we're going to need to record more than one so we have time while you're away for me to edit them and put them out. And hopefully nothing major happens between episodes.
We'll see if I have time for that. But if not, we can record. Find some time to record. Until then, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. See you on Tuesday. Every Tuesday.
For what will eventually become the Escape Pod. Bye.
Bye. Hold on, we're recording again.
Yeah, we always have to have an extra
thing, even though we already had so many extra
honestly,
things.
I feel like I should take something from the before and put it in the after.
Oh. Well, yeah, okay. Put it here now.
Oh.
I think I have like chronic tonsillitis now.
Yeah.
Like when you have to get your tonsils removed.
Oh no. Have you been looking
This
back
has not
at
to do with my breath stinking. That's just you being absolutely insane.
I mean, I can smell it, dude. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I gotta be honest.
I literally brush my
Maybe
teeth.
it's, you know how your hydro flask smells bad? Maybe when you drink from when it
your
smells
breath
bad.
probably smells bad too. You're just hypersensitive to smell because you have the tism. Okay.
The tism.
So, they're like, there's nothing I can do. There's bacteria that live inside our bodies and they make smells.
Do you brush your tongue?
Yes.
Do you brush the very back of your tongue?
Yes. There's
Do you
bacteria.
throw up in the sink?
You literally smelled terrible yesterday because you don't put on deodorant, okay?
I do put on deodorant.
So if we want to start talking about smells...
I do put on deodorant. I just don't put on like that heavy, like give you cancer in 2 years antiperspirant
No,
stuff.
your answer to if you put on deodorant was yes, yesterday.
Yesterday, like evening. So like not even 24 hours away.
You're not going to be the one to
and
talk about
I
smells,
put it on
bro.
heavy.
You're not going to be the one to talk about smells.
Jason.
Is all I'm saying. No, you have to give me that. You're not going to be the one to talk about smells. At least I brushed my teeth. That much is beyond my control. If you think my
I
breath
wasn't
smells
blaming
bad.
you for your bad breath. I was just being honest about it.
Brad. Brad. You said Brad. You said
Brad.
Brad.
I know.
You misspoke. You said Brad.
I know, and you're never gonna let me live it down.
You misspoke.
From now until the end of time, you're gonna be the bad breath guy, and I'm gonna be the Brad Beth.
You said
That
Beth.
could be a name, Brad Beth.
Imagine if you were like a married couple and your names were Brad and Beth.
And everyone calls you the
Brad.
the bad breath couple.
The Brad Beth.
Do you want to start after that?
That's a awesome intro.
That's a long intro.
No, the whole thing is not going to be the intro. You're going to have to find a good place to start it.
Okay, bye.
Okay.